What if one of the market's most unexpected shakeups didn't come from Harley or Indian, but from Honda, with almost no warning? The Rebel 1100 appeared without press tours or influencer campaigns, landing a sub-$10,000 price tag that directly challenged the established order. In 2024, Honda even edged out Harley-Davidson in U.S. market share, capturing 20% compared to Harley's 19.9%. How did Honda quietly position itself to outmaneuver Harley and Indian? The answer lies in a strategy that prioritized timing, precision, and a willingness to break from nostalgia. To understand how this unfolded, it's necessary to examine the period of silence that preceded Honda's return. Welcome back to Motorcycle Library. Honda's silent strategy, planning a market shakeup. After global success with the Shadow and VTX, Honda quietly phased out cruisers as the segment grew nostalgia-heavy. What looked like defeat was, in fact, a calculated move. As the market leaned further into chrome, larger engines, and an image anchored in the past, Honda reduced production and withdrew its models from showrooms. This retreat allowed Honda to watch from the sidelines as the cruiser market's established players doubled down on tradition. During Honda's absence, the landscape shifted. Harley-Davidson continued to focus on high-margin, premium models tied to its classic Americana identity. Even when Harley introduced the Nightster at a sub-$10,000 price, it did so without making significant supply chain changes, illustrating a reactive approach rather than a structural shift. Indian, under Polaris, also pursued higher profit margins with nostalgia-driven bikes. Meanwhile, Royal Enfield found success by offering simple, vintage-inspired bikes at sub-$6,000 prices, tapping into a demand for affordability that the larger American brands often overlooked. This period saw a change in what riders valued. Younger buyers became less interested in the lifestyle and legacy that defined the cruiser segment for decades. Instead, they wanted motorcycles that were practical, modern, and accessible. Machines that delivered reliability and ease of use over tradition and spectacle. The expectation that a cruiser had to be a heavy, chrome-laden statement piece faded, replaced by a preference for clean design and functional performance. Honda's withdrawal kept the company from being trapped in raising prices for a narrowing base of older riders, a cycle that left competitors with fewer options as their core audience aged. Honda's strategy was to avoid the pitfalls of reworking legacy models for a market that no longer wanted them. By staying out of the fray, Honda preserved the flexibility to return with a product tailored to new expectations. The company's engineers and strategists spent these years observing the evolving market, noting the gap left by competitors who clung to tradition. As the cruiser segment became leaner and more global, the space for a fresh, affordable, and modern alternative grew. When Honda re-entered the market, it did so with precision. The launch of the Rebel 1100 at a $9,999 base MSRP directly addressed the gap in the segment. The price point undercut established competitors and signaled a commitment to value. The Rebel 1100's design emphasized simplicity and modernity, steering clear of overt nostalgia. Its clean lines and restrained styling marked a departure from the prevailing trends, aiming instead at riders who prioritized utility over image. The launch itself reflected Honda's silent strategy. There was no extensive marketing campaign or prolonged build-up. Instead, Honda allowed the product to speak for itself, relying on the strength of the Rebel 1100's features and price. This approach stood in contrast to the industry's typical reliance on hype and tradition. The silence was intentional, signaling confidence in the bike's ability to meet the needs of a new generation of riders. Honda's patience and restraint set the foundation for a disruptive return. The Rebel 1100 was not a rehashed legacy model or a reactionary release. It was the result of years of planning, designed to align with the priorities of modern riders. The focus on affordability, functionality, and modern design allowed Honda to bypass the constraints that held back its competitors. Rather than attempting to revive the past, Honda presented a vision for what the cruiser segment could become. The impact of this strategy is evident in how the Rebel 1100 reshaped expectations. It challenged the established order by offering a credible alternative that did not rely on nostalgia. The understated launch and the bike's accessible price point forced competitors to reconsider their approach. For riders who had grown tired of the noise and tradition, the Rebel 1100 offered a practical, modern solution. This move by Honda was not simply about re-entering the cruiser market. It was about redefining what a cruiser could be and who it was for. The careful planning and deliberate execution behind the Rebel 1100's launch positioned Honda to reach a new generation of riders. The result is a motorcycle that stands apart, not through volume or spectacle, but through a clear understanding of changing market demands. In the wake of this shift, the Rebel 1100's design and engineering choices reveal how Honda approached inclusion and efficiency, not as marketing slogans, but as guiding principles. The Rebel 1100. Engineering inclusion and efficiency. What makes a $9,999 cruiser perform like a premium bike? The Rebel 1100 is Honda's answer, built with a clear focus on efficiency and accessibility. Rather than relying on nostalgia or unnecessary ornamentation, Honda approached the project by identifying what modern riders value and engineering those qualities into the motorcycle. This is not simply a pared-down version of a classic cruiser. It is a motorcycle designed from the ground up to meet the needs of a changing market. Central to the Rebel 1100's design is its engine. Honda selected the same 1,083 cubic centimeter parallel twin from the Africa Twin, a power plant recognized for its reliability and versatility. In this application, the engine delivers 72.2 pound-feet of torque, providing the low-end pull required for relaxed cruising and ample power for highway riding. By adopting a proven engine, Honda avoids the costs and risks of developing a new platform, while offering riders a familiar and capable unit. This decision reflects Honda's broader strategy: leverage existing strengths to maximize value and performance, rather than pursue novelty for its own sake. One of the most significant features of the Rebel 1100 is its available dual-clutch transmission DCT. For many riders, mastering the clutch and shift pattern is a barrier to entry. The DCT system addresses this challenge directly. Unlike a traditional automatic, the DCT retains the feel of a manual gearbox, but eliminates the need for a clutch lever. It can operate automatically or allow for manual gear changes via paddle controls. The effect is similar to the introduction of automatic transmissions in cars. Like the automatic in a car, it reduces fear of stalling at a stoplight, making the learning curve less steep for new or returning riders. Honda's inclusion of the DCT is a strategic move, serving as a Trojan horse to attract those who might otherwise be intimidated by traditional motorcycle controls. This approach opens the door to a wider demographic, including younger riders and those in urban environments, and fosters brand loyalty by making the motorcycle experience more accessible. The emphasis on efficiency extends to the Rebel 1100's construction. Honda's design team focused on essential elements, eliminating unnecessary components that would add weight or cost. Instead of ornamental chrome and heavy plastics, the bike uses clean welds and essential trims. This approach results in a machine that feels refined and purposeful without the visual clutter associated with traditional cruisers. The fit and finish are notable, with attention to detail in areas often overlooked at this price point. The result is a motorcycle that projects quality through its simplicity, aligning its aesthetic with its functional intent. Honda's manufacturing discipline underpins the entire project. The use of a shared engine platform, global manufacturing partnerships, and a streamlined supply chain allows Honda to achieve economies of scale. The Africa Twin engine is not just a technical choice. It is an example of production planning that enables Honda to spread development costs across multiple models. This strategy contributes directly to the Rebel 1100's competitive price, ensuring that cost savings are realized without compromising build quality or performance. Achieving a sub-$10,000 price for a full-size cruiser required a series of calculated decisions. Honda did not reach this figure by sacrificing quality or cutting corners. Each element, the engine, transmission, materials, and assembly process, was selected for its ability to deliver value without excess. The result is a motorcycle that feels more expensive than its MSRP suggests, with clean welds and solid fitment that inspire confidence in both new and experienced riders. For established riders, the Rebel 1100 maintains enough of the traditional cruiser characteristics to feel familiar, while its modern features broaden its appeal. The DCT, in particular, acts as an entry point for those who might hesitate to learn manual shifting, removing a significant barrier to participation. Riders can focus on the experience, navigating roads and corners, without being distracted by the mechanics of clutch work. This positions the Rebel 1100 as a practical option for a broad range of users, not just enthusiasts or traditionalists. The broader implication of the Rebel 1100's design is a challenge to the industry's established norms. Honda's approach demonstrates that it is possible to deliver a high-quality, accessible motorcycle without relying on exclusivity or tradition. By engineering inclusion and efficiency at every stage, Honda forces competitors to reconsider long-held assumptions about what riders want and how motorcycles should be built. By rejecting chrome for clean lines, Honda rewrote the cruiser handbook. This disciplined, strategic approach to design and manufacturing sets a new standard in the segment and prompts a closer look at the underlying strengths that enable Honda to deliver value where others cannot. The unfair advantage: Honda's versatility and resilience. Honda isn't just motorcycles, it's cars, robotics, power equipment, and even aircraft engines. This breadth shapes Honda's approach to the motorcycle market and gives the company a level of versatility that few competitors can match. The Rebel 1100 benefits directly from this foundation, drawing on resources and expertise that extend far beyond a single product line. Honda's diversified business model allows it to take calculated risks and make long-term investments in ways that are out of reach for manufacturers focused solely on motorcycles. The company's resilience was particularly evident during the COVID-19 pandemic. When chip shortages hit rivals, Honda rerouted sourcing across Japan, Thailand, and Vietnam, fulfilling dealer orders while others posted 6-month waitlists. Years of investment in modular manufacturing, shared platforms, and regionally adaptable supply chains paid off at a critical moment. Harley-Davidson, for example, struggled with supplier delays, while Honda maintained consistent production and deliveries. This adaptability was not the result of chance, but of a logistical strategy designed to withstand market shocks and external pressures. Honda's preparedness extended to the challenges posed by shifting global trade policies. During the Trump administration, a 25% tariff on imported motorcycle parts imposed significant costs on American manufacturers. Honda's regional assembly sidestepped those costs, unlike Harley, which felt a direct hit. By distributing production and sourcing materials regionally, Honda avoided the financial strain that forced competitors to raise prices or cut features. This approach demonstrated not only foresight, but also a commitment to maintaining value for customers, even as the economic landscape changed. Financially, Honda's non-motorcycle divisions underwrite moves competitors can't risk. The company's ventures into robotics, aircraft engines, and renewable energy mean that it is not reliant on the performance of a single segment. If motorcycle sales fluctuate, Honda's broader ecosystem absorbs the impact. This financial flexibility enables Honda to price the Rebel 1010 aggressively and invest in features that enhance the rider's experience without jeopardizing the company's stability. A key advantage for Honda lies in its ability to maintain quality while keeping costs competitive. The Rebel 1100 uses the same parallel twin engine found in the Africa Twin, a strategy that minimizes development costs and ensures reliability. Shared platforms and proven technology allow Honda to deliver a motorcycle that meets high standards of performance and durability. The focus is not on cutting corners, but on intelligent design and manufacturing efficiency. While others promoted chrome-laced limited editions, Honda offered standard tech, like DCT and cruise control, at no extra cost, per the 2025 spec update. This approach appeals to a broader range of riders and positions Honda as a leader in delivering accessible innovation. Inventory management and production efficiency are further examples of Honda's advantage. During periods of raw material price volatility and supply chain uncertainty, Honda's inventory buffers and use of shared parts across product lines allowed the company to maintain stable production. Customers received motorcycles on time, reinforcing Honda's reputation for reliability. This consistent performance built trust during a period when many consumers were wary of delays and price hikes. Honda's strength is rooted in discipline and strategic planning, rather than reliance on tradition or spectacle. While others promoted chrome-laced limited editions, Honda focused on delivering standard technology and modern design at accessible prices. The company's broad business portfolio ensures that a downturn in one area does not threaten overall stability. This allows Honda to pursue new markets and adapt to changing consumer preferences with confidence. Cross-sector innovation further enhances Honda's position. Advances in robotics inform materials and electronic systems used in motorcycles, while developments from the automotive division contribute to engine design and emissions control. This flow of knowledge results in motorcycles that meet global standards and deliver reliable performance. Competitors without this infrastructure struggle to keep pace with the scale and speed of Honda's development. In the end, Honda's unfair advantage is not simply a matter of resources, but of how they are leveraged. The company's ability to adapt, manage risk, and execute long-term strategies gives it a unique position in the industry. The Rebel 1100 is not just the product of efficient manufacturing. It is supported by an industrial empire that leaves rivals on unstable ground. This comprehensive strength challenges the established order and sets a new benchmark for what a modern cruiser can be. As the landscape continues to evolve, the significance of the Rebel 1100 extends beyond its technical features or price point. It stands as evidence of how a diversified, resilient company can redefine expectations and shape the future direction of the motorcycle industry. The Rebel 1100 redefines what a cruiser can be. With its balance of proven engineering, modern features, and accessible pricing, Honda challenges a long-standing narrative. That tradition must come at the cost of innovation. This motorcycle doesn't just fill a gap in the market, it sends a message. Performance, practicality, and style are no longer mutually exclusive. And as the segment shifts, established players like Harley-Davidson and Indian face a choice: evolve or risk obsolescence. What comes next is uncertain. But one thing is clear: change is already underway. If you're considering your first cruiser, it may be time to rethink what you thought you knew. Subscribe to follow the machines shaping the future of motorcycling. And if you have thoughts, questions, or predictions, drop them in the comments below.